Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly coven summoning. My name is Ulsa,
And my name is Stacy.
and we're
Caffeine and Conjuring, a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
As we continue our journey through Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass, I want to remind all of our listeners to please keep from commenting any spoilers on our social media so everyone has an enjoyable reading experience. If you've been keeping up with our episodes, we finished Book 1, Throne of Glass, and today we're starting Book 2, Crown of Midnight. So please read up to and including Chapter 9 before listening to the episode if you don't want any spoilers. So Chapter 1. So, Celaena Sardathian, dressed in a black hood and mask, the King of Ardalan's assassin, climbs a manor's exterior wall and enters the house through an open window. A servant passes her in the hallway, shuts the window, and disappears. When the hall is clear, Celaena moves to Lord Nyrl's bedroom, where he's sleeping next to his wife. Nyrl opens his eyes, and Celaena raises her sword. So yeah, that was Chapter 1. In all of its glory.
A nice little intro. just a little intro. So Chapter 2 starts then with Celaena presenting Nyrl's head to the king. And she also has his seal ring. Like his hand, actually, with the ring. And it's this there was such a visual with this chapter because she explains that heads don't travel well. We get a really gnarly visual with this chapter because he says that the head, like, he can't really recognize the head. And she's like, well, they don't travel well in a sack. So, yeah. But she does then pull out his hand that has the ring with his seal. And then also his wife's hand. She does explain that his wife is also down in the bottom of whatever
River?
Lake?
Yeah.
River?
Body of water.
Yeah. with Nyrl. So he is obviously okay, whatever. And gives her next target, which is Archer Finn. And this is someone that she knew from her past. And we learned that Archer is supposedly part of the rebel movement in Drifthold. And he's kind of like, he's going to give her, the king is going to give her a list of names, but only one at a time. He's being very stingy with his list of people that he wants killed. But he's just one of many, apparently, that's part of the rebel movement. She is worried about Archer because he's a very well-known person. He's very recognizable. And meanwhile, Prince Dorian is starting to suspect that Celaena used him to become a champion. We get a little bit of his perspective here, where he's feeling kind of insecure about Celaena and how she's not giving him any attention. She broke everything off after she had become the king's assassin. So his thoughts are going south. He thinks that she was using him.
My baby.
Yeah. I felt kind of bad for him when he was talking about that. And then Celaena and Chaol, the captain of the guard, have a tense but close moment. Celaena is playing a dangerous game by defying the king, and she needs to figure out what to do about Archer. Chaol wants to debrief her, and there's this really cute little moment where she's like, you should, treat me like a real lady and debrief me in my room. And I just love that little bit between her and Chaol. But he really wants to check in, and he's very adamant on wanting to know what happened. And he's like, if Nyrl fought back, then there might be witnesses who heard. And she's just very confident he didn't make any noise. And she does give him a story. We are obviously hearing now that, like, she's lying about killing these people. She'd given Lord Nyrl the same choices she'd given Sir Carlin: die right then, or fake his own death and flee. Flee far and never use his given name again. So we know that she's not actually killing these people. And yeah, So now she's trying to figure out what she's going to do about Archer because he is a very recognizable person. I think that was it for chapter 2. I did have something highlighted for chapter 2, though. Oh, never mind. The only thing that I had highlighted was, I'd like to debrief you. She raised an eyebrow. Aren't you at least going to take me to dinner first? Oh, that was such a cute little moment. Anyways, where did we go in chapter 3?
So, Celaena has another nightmare about Cain the Ridderak. In the dream, Cain got close enough that his fingers raked against the nape of her neck, and he whispered her name, her true name, and she screamed and then she woke up. She woke up grasping for her amulet and reminding herself that it's over, it's not real.
Her real name? Like
not Liliana?
Yeah, Celaena. Like, is that what she means by her real name? Because she already knows that he knew who she was. So why is that something that will jar her awake and...
Maybe just reiterating what happened in the past?
Maybe.
The next day, she's playing with Fleetfoot outside, and Nehemia has joined her. Celaena decides it's impossible that the king knows that Nehemia is a spy because she's friends with Celaena. If the king had any inkling, then chances are there'd be help to pay. They talk a little bit about Archer and how Celaena has to kill the list of suspect traitors who are interfering with his plans. Celaena doesn't really want to share whatever the plans are if she discovers them, because she's afraid that the king will start killing the people Celaena cares about. Nehemia fills Celaena in on the growing numbers of rebels being put into Ndove's sister camp, Calcula. The conditions there are terrible, and Nehemia wants to meet with the king to discuss the situation, but the king seems to be avoiding her requests at all costs. After Nehemia leaves, Celaena is to meet with Chaol before she heads into Rifthold, and leaving her questions with Archer until later. She has a blood money to burn. I love her shopping addiction. Every bit of coin that she gets, she immediately blows it all on shopping.
And I like how she says on books and books and books.
Yeah.
I like that little moment with her and Nehemia on Fleetfoot.
Yeah.
It was just so, normal. And then chapter 4, Celaena and Chaol are running in the game park. And Celaena notices the amount of women out walking, dressed very nicely. And it's obvious that they're out to gawk at Chaol. She notices that, they're out pretty early running. If they're all dressed up like this, it means they must have woke up at, the ass crack of dawn to get dressed up to go out and watch Chaol run. I mean, okay, fair, but still, be a little more subtle. So, this is kind of a bit of an eye-opening moment, too, for Chaol and Celaena, because they're discussing, basically, the people that they've killed. Celaena reflects on a lot of the guilt and burden of taking lives while acknowledging the necessity of her actions. And Chaol is obviously troubled by his killing of Cain. He basically asks her, how she lives with herself, and she, instantly gets her back up, and he's just like, no, that's not what I mean, this about Cain, he's having a hard time dealing with it. And she reassures him that it was not dishonorable, and that he saved her life. That's just what it boils down to. And as they're out, they do encounter Dorian and his cousin Roland. And we learn that he's been appointed to the King's Council. Celaena is really wary of Roland's intentions. She's got no trust with him at all. And later, Dorian visits Celaena in her rooms and expresses his desire to remain friends. But Celaena, however, maintains a distance, and she's recognizing the complications of their relationship. And Dorian leaves, and Celaena is left alone with her conflicting emotions. That was sad. Yeah, he takes a step closer, exposing his palms to her. Do you want me to fight for you? Is that it? No, she said quietly. I just want you to leave me alone. His eyes flickered with the words left unsaid. Selena stared at him, unmoving, until he silently left.
My heart broke at that part.
Yeah, and then she's just like there clenching her fist, and she's suddenly disgusted with all the pretty packages on the table. I feel so bad for Dorian. I do, like, I understand why she broke it off with him in the last book, but man, that's brutal. And it gets even worse in maybe it's chapter 6, possibly.
I think 7, when Dorian's a little bit, like, childish about it, then, like,
yeah,
his mood starts to sour a little bit. Yeah.
I have some more theories in works, but I gotta wait till we get later into the chapters to talk about it.
So chapter 5 started with Selena on another rooftop, spying on Archer. She's getting the names of people who live in the houses by pretending to be courier to the wrong address. She thinks about how she isn't going to get much more information unless she actually enters the houses, and given the likelihood that Archer might actually be doing what he was paid to do, she was in no rush to go inside. She's reminiscing about how she used to spy from the rooftops to get information on her targets, and about Sam. Thinking it feels kind of the same, how she could go back to the Assassin's Keep with Sam, but now she has to go back to the Glass Castle.
Here we are getting more little sprinkles of Sam Portland.
Oh, I'm gonna cry again reading Assassin's Blade. She's brought back to reality when Archer leaves the house and leaves by carriage. So she shakes off the memories and hops off the roof and trails Archer. She's worried that what she'll find out about the rebel movement will destroy her and everything she's come to care about. In the next scene, Selena's in Cale's bedroom. Trying to read, but it's well past 11 and sleep is trying to take over. Cale's laying on the floor doing some paperwork, but starts questioning Selena on why she's putting so much effort into investigating Archer instead of just killing him when she had the chance. She brushes it off, saying she's trying to get as much intel about the rebels' plans, which isn't completely a lie. Changing the subject, Cale pokes fun at her a little bit for snoring while she dozed off and told her she sounded like a bear. I love that little playful banter they had there.
Yeah, same. We also learn there that she spends a lot of nights in Cale's room.
So Selena brings up Roland and tries to find out why Cale has such a strong distaste for the man. To which Cale just sighs. I think it's fairly easy for you to see why I hate him. Sir? Can't read minds here.
Nope.
She goes back to looking at her information on Archer. There's one house on her map that she thinks about. She made great pains to avoid walking by, both before she was sent to Endovier and when she was following Archer. She asks Cale if he's heard of a man named Rook Farron. The name brings back heavy emotions of grief and anger. He's apparently some crime lord who died killed by a man named Wesley, who we found out was Arobyn's personal guard. We get some backstory about Wesley, and he was trying to stop Selena the night she was captured, claiming it was a trap. We find out that Wesley was killed by Arobyn the day after, in turn, he killed Rook. Oh, fuck that name.
Yeah.
Rook. And left him out on a pike for all to see. And, like, that was a gnarly visual as well, because they talk about how, like, he would have been still left alive when he was put up there from the amount of blood that came out of him. It's like,
Yeah. And the servants were warned to not remove him.
Yep.
Ugh.
But Selena decides to think about all the implications of all that later. Cale asks why Wesley would kill Rook in the first place, and Selena tells him it was an act of revenge because Rook killed her boyfriend Sam, and when Selena went to kill him herself, she got captured. At this point, she kind of briefs Kale on the knowledge that she had a companion named Sam, and to this day, she's not entirely sure who killed him. She also has no idea where he was buried, but she just knows that she failed him. This part was so sweet too, because Kale tries to comfort her, and he tells her in one way she didn't fail Sam because he would want her to live.
See, this is why I love Kale.
And then we get a little story from Kale as well about some hardships in his life. He tells Selena about a lady named Lethane. Lethane.
Sure.
So, Roland thought it would be amusing for Kale to catch him and Lethane together in the bedroom, and Kale seemed to truly love her, or so he thought at the time. And she chose Roland because he is a Haviliard and Kale is just a captain of the guard. She ended up going back to Roland's home, but Kale never found out what happened to her after that.
Damn.
So, after all the trauma dumping, Selena decides it's time to go to bed. And Kale offers to walk her to her room, and we get some sweet banter between the two, and the super sweet moment where Selena says, "For what it's worth, Kale, if she picked Roland over you, that makes her the greatest fool who ever lived."
Yay. Yes, it does.
So, Selena can't sleep, so she heads to the library, hoping to find a book that piques her interest. I love this part, because I resonated with that so much. She has a room full of books that she hasn't read, but she's like, I need something new.
Yeah.
I felt that to my core. With the chill going around the castle tonight, it was no surprise to see someone completely concealed by a black cloak, hood drawn far over their face. But something about the figure standing between the open library doors made some part of Selena have a warning pull so strong that she didn't take another step. The thing makes an animal sniffing noise and moves towards her, and her amulet given to her by Elena starts to glow. The thing then hisses and then goes back into the shadows of the library, and then the creature disappears. Selena decides to turn back and try and convince herself that this was just a hallucination and she just needs some sleep.
And then that brings us right into chapter 6, where Selena is absolutely not sprinting back to her room. She makes this very clear that what she's seen was obviously just a regular person going to the library at night like her. Nothing at all suspicious about this. Especially not the amulet glowing, not the hissing, not the growling. She is not running. So she gets back in her room and she decides to head down to Elena's tomb to, I guess, just to try to find some more answers, to talk to Elena again. And cue my new favorite character.
I love Mort so much.
We meet Mort. Oh my god. So all I could picture was the fucking doorknob
from Alice in Wonderland.
Mixed with a little bit of Unhinged by Vera Valentine, but...
Oh god.
Yes, so...
I might need a fanfic about this.
Oh, I'm sure it's out there.
A Mort fanfic.
Mm-hmm.
And guaranteed it would be like Mort and Philippa. Like a Mort and Philippa.
Oh my god.
Her going around cleaning, taking the servants' entrance and stuff, and then coming along him and coming along him.
Oh god.
That took a turn. Okay.
AO3, here we go. Okay, so Mort, for those of you who don't know yet, he's like the knocker that's on the door to the tomb. And he is very upset with Selena for never knocking. He thinks that she is the most uncultured swine for not knocking. And we do learn that it was King Brennan that was the one to, like, magic him to life. And she's like, hold up. Magic is supposed to be, like, no more. So, like, how is this a thing? And he says, like, it's basically the same as, like, the word marks, that this is, like, an ancient magic that the king couldn't prevent, stop, however that is. And Celaena is aghast at how long ago that was, and he responds, "How insensitive of you to insult me about my age." And I thought that was so funny. Like, this doorknob has so much personality. We do find out that Elena almost burnt herself out trying to help Celaena over the past few months, and Mort tells her that she's just gone until she regains her strength. But she does leave a message for Celaena with Mort. And he says, "If I could leave you in peace, I would, but you have lived your life aware that you will never escape certain burdens. Whether you like it or not, you are bound to the fate of this world. As the king's champion, you are now in a position of power, and you can make a difference in the lives of many." And Celaena, like, she wants no part of whatever she's being roped into. She's clearly angry that this is on her shoulders now, and she feels the world is already in ruins, that Elena is just too late. Mort reveals that he knows about her past and about her parents, but Celaena is very angry that he brings this up and snaps, "Shut your rutting face." And then the chapter ends with her storming back up the stairs.
Okay, I have to rewind a little bit. And it's before Elena's message. And this is a spoiler warning to anyone who hasn't read ACOTAR or Crescent City. So this is your warning. Give me, like, 2 minutes, because I'm sure you're going to have a comment on this as well. So give us, like, 2 minutes, and then come back. So before Elena's message gets passed on to Celaena, we get a little bit of information about Damaris. And I've been waiting for this. So some legends claim that when Gavin wielded Damaris, he would only see the truth, and that was why he'd been crowned king, or some nonsense like that. What does that remind you of, Stacey?
Azriel's.
The truth teller.
Truth teller.
Ah!
What the hell?
Yeah.
How did I not pick up that?
I've been, like, when Damaris first got mentioned, I almost, like, spilled the beans there, and I'm like, it hasn't been, like, fully connected yet within the universes.
Holy crap.
But there's definitely something there between Damaris and the truth teller.
So do we know from ACOTAR where Azriel got it?
So it hasn't been confirmed where he got truth teller.
Oh. So that still doesn't really give us much information on whether this is past, future, or just alternate.
But I'm thinking that those questions are going to be answered in the new ACOTAR book, because it's probably going to focus on Elaine and Azriel. Please God, don't let them be a thing together. But I'm thinking that they might throw a little bit more Throne of Glass in, like they did with ACOTAR and Crescent City crossover.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so excited.
So welcome back to everyone who had to dip out for the spoilers.
Mind blown.
Oh god, I can't wait. So, since I kind of cut you off there, did you have any other thoughts for chapter 6?
No, that is it. That's all I got.
So, chapter 7. Celaena wakes up the next day with a pounding headache and is disappointed to realize that her trip to the tomb and run-in with a talking doorknob was indeed real and not one of her nightmares.
I'm having, I don't know, I'm being triggered by the whole headaches thing now. As soon as that chapter started saying that she was having a headache, I was like, oh my god, the rings. So I'm nervous now. Carry on.
So, at this point, she's thinking about two things. First off, how the king has plans and decides to listen to Elena and uncover them. Elena said that she just had to find out, and nothing about facing the king, right? And secondly, that she needs to speak to Archer and start figuring out how to fake his death.
Mm-hmm.
We then see Selena hitting up Rifthold and has asked Cale to join her in the hope he will lay off about her going out alone so frequently. I love this chapter so much.
Mm-hmm.
They're heading to the tea room where Archer eats with his male courtesans. Selena tells Cale not to say anything when they talk to Archer, and maybe not to look so doom and gloom, as he refers to himself as a worthy accessory.
That's so cute.
So, the Willows, which is the tea room they're going to, is a very upscale and has a hard-to-attain membership. And for some reason, Arobynn Hamel, the King of Assassins, apparently had a membership there. Cale is hesitant about going in, and Selena pokes fun at him a little bit for being afraid of all the overly amorous women who might be after him. So Archer finally makes his appearance, and Selena accidentally bumps into him. After a little small talk and a little flirting, Archer asks Selena how she managed to get out of Mendovier. Not wanting to give away too much, she gives him the short and sweet version. And not being able to read the room, Archer brings up Sam. And you can tell her mood just completely changes. She even puts a hand on Cale's arm, suddenly just needing to touch him to make sure he was still there for support. So, immediately changing the subject, Selena asks Archer if he's available for lunch the next day, and he accepts. And we get a little more jealousy from Cale, which is always fun.
Lena!
His inner thoughts about Archer are a little aggressive. He hates that some of the flirting wasn't acting, and he despises the nickname for her.
Mm-hmm.
Lena. His inner thoughts also tell us that he's finding some relief in the fact that she's going to be killing him. Well, dang, Cale.
Wow.
Taking a little step into the dark side. You got your first kill down, and now you're just all willy-nilly with the deaths. So we also find out that Cale is no stranger to the name Sam Cortland and seems kind of shocked that Selena had loved someone that fiercely. And then the chapter ends with a little more banter between the two, and Selena letting Cale know that she hates the nickname.
Yeah, I like how they both didn't like it. Although I feel Cale's was more just the, like, who's this guy that has this nickname for Selena? Like,
Yeah.
The jealousy was just... Jealousy is such a massive theme so far.
Yeah.
In the two books. Into chapter 8. Selena is assisting with guard duty at the state dinner. And there's like a lot of important people here. And her poor girl is starving. She mentions all the food in pretty good detail.
I was hungry reading it.
Yeah. And that thankfully she's far away that no one will hear her stomach grumbling. I love how that was like actually a point that she makes. But there's a lot of lesser nobility here. But at the center table, you have the king and queen, you have Parrington, and the others that are in the inner circle. Dorian and Roland are there, and Cale is standing at attention nearest the king. Her attention keeps going back and forth between Dorian and Cale, and her inner dialogue going, she's struggling with wanting to tell either Cale or Dorian that she really doesn't trust Roland, or like him, that there's something about his emerald eyes she doesn't trust. And then we switch over to Dorian's perspective, and he's noticing how Selena is watching Cale. When she looks at Dorian, there's like no emotion, but then he notices how Selena's face changes to a softer, more contemplative look. So here we go with the jealousy again. So he's had enough of watching Celaena simper over his friend. He storms out of the hall. Is that where they are right now? And he storms out. Like, he's had enough. Celaena catches up with him, and she's worried about him and what's eating at him. And he doesn't come right out with, like, the whole jealousy thing. Like, he doesn't come out with that. But they do have words about his insecurity, about how he feels that she used him to become the king's champion. And she's livid that he thinks this of her. She expresses her concern over Roland and that he's not to be trusted because he has little to lose and a lot to gain. So to be careful that he doesn't use Dorian as a puppet. And then the chapter ends with Celaena at Kaltain's cell. Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Uh-huh.
So chapter 9.
Last chapter.
Kaltain has been living in some less than savory conditions, including moldy hay and a nice little bucket to relieve herself in. Seems well deserved by Celaena's point of view. Celaena mentions she has some questions and starts off by asking about Roland. Kaltain confirms Celaena's suspicion to not trust him, but when Kaltain is threatened to give more answers by Celaena, she pleads to be left alone as the guards turn a blind eye to Parrington's visits. And Celaena can visually see the bruising caused by him. She sees the bruising around her wrist. But not only that, but Kaltain seems to also be hallucinating some birds and some other creatures. And maybe it's from the opium withdrawals? Maybe it's something else? We don't know. Celaena ends up tossing Kaltain her cloak and is left with cryptic words from Kaltain. Something is coming, and I am to grieve. They're really starting to, push the sympathy card for Kaltain.
Yeah. But she's also, and I know, Celaena thinks that it's all, mumbo jumbo, but Kaltain is obviously feeling that she is being used, that she's there to be used for something bigger, more disturbing. She can just feel that. Ugh.
So, the next day, Celaena and Nehemia are enjoying some breakfast in bed in her chambers, and they're discussing Kaltain's treatment in the dungeons. Nehemia is astonished at how poorly a noblewoman is being treated, and can't imagine how lower-ranking citizens are being treated. Nehemia insists that Celaena talk to Chaol, which she already has, but it seems like the king will be needing some new guards for his dungeons.
I love how she mentions how his knuckles were beat up. Ugh.
Yeah.
He took that pretty seriously.
Nehemia brings up that at some point long in the past, people served out of loyalty, not fear, and wonders if anywhere could have that type of rule again. And at this point, it's seeming like a pipe dream. Nehemia also mentions that Roland has joined the King's Council, and his job is to deal with her, Nehemia.
Ugh.
I love Celaena's quip of not knowing who she feels worse for between the two.
Fair.
And then the brazen little thief Fleetfoot steals some bacon from the tray. Not really important, but a cute little moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that
just
little
rounded
dog.
out the scene.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Little.
Yeah, well. Still a puppy. Not enough time has passed for that to be an adult dog yet. That's still a puppy.
I find it interesting that I don't remember what chapter it was. But Dorian, it makes note that Dorian doesn't know who the pup's father is.
Yeah.
So, she contemplates, if it's a wolf or... I just thought that was kind of a little interesting thing to note.
So, as much as Celaena would like to stay in bed all day, she needs to prepare for her meeting with Archer. And that's the end of chapter 9.
So far in the first part of the book, we know that Celaena's faking the assassinations, that there is a growing rebel movement within Rifthold. Archer Finn seems to be the first target of this rebel movement. Roland is super suspicious, and there's still more to come with Kaltain. Because if Kaltain wasn't going to be an important person, it would have just been left at her rotting in the dungeons. That would have been it. There's obviously more coming for her. That's a lot to unpack from the first 9 chapters.
A lot of information there.
Yeah. Huh. I think Dorian might be under, and maybe even Celaena too, but there may be some effects from the rings on them. Because Dorian seems to be getting darker and darker with his thoughts. Celaena getting that headache. Possibly even Chaol, but then again, Chaol was like super broody anyways in the first book. But I just think that this book, Dorian seems out of character. And that's all I will say on that, because I know you can't say anything about it. That's really the only working theories I have so far. Otherwise, I don't know. We haven't had any dealings with Parrington yet. Like, no point of view between the king and Parrington. So we don't know what's really going on there yet. And you're right, like, she is really pushing the sympathy card for Kaltain. How they mentioned the Night Guards turns a blind eye to Parrington coming down at night and obviously raping her.
Any thoughts about Erebin and the whole Celaena being captured and the new info we kind of got about that?
Right, so he obviously knows that she's released now, that, like, she's wandering Rifthold again, right?
She makes a comment that, like, he knows so many people, like, he's bound to have heard.
Yeah. I don't know yet, though. I mean, obviously, yes, he does know, but I don't see how that's going to play in just yet. Like, where that's going.
Yeah.
How does she know Archer? How was that again?
She met him when she was 13, I think it said. Or that was the last time she's seen him.
Was he a part of Erebin's crew?
They're both part of Ardalan's criminal underground.
Okay.
Not necessarily through Erebin, but...
I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's going to have something to do with the band of rebels. Erebin, I mean. But I don't know if he has enough good bones in his body. Yeah, that's all I really got for the first 9 chapters.
It's like, we got a lot of information, but nothing big, like, plot-wise happened.
No, not yet.
And now, after your revelation today, you're probably dreading the plot.
Yeah. I'm gonna, like, constantly be sizing up things with...
So, Stacy today came across something. And was it you opened the PDF for the book or something, and it just went to a random chapter, and had a pretty big something spoiled for her, but we'll get into that once we get there.
Literally 2 words. My eyes had to glaze over and focus on 2 words, and it just ruined my whole day.
And for anyone who's already read the series, it's not the big thing that happens in this book. It's one of the other smaller big things.
How is that small?
Smaller big thing, not small.
I am not looking forward to that. Nope, it's not. I just misread. Is not what it seems. I will gaslight myself. I'm nervous.
I'm excited.
So, what are we reading next? Chapters 10 to 19, right? We're doing 9 chapters at a time? Or, well, 10 and including 19. I just want more Mort.
I might be looking up fan fictions tonight about Mort.
Oh, me too. No, I can't look up anything because I'll end up getting spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Do not.
Yeah.
Do
nope,
not.
I am staying far away from the mass fan fictions for all of it, because God only knows.
Probably safe.
Yeah. And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.